Testing. Okay. A little high. Testing. Unfortunately, I don't have any people to tell me if Kindle. Nope. Yes. Mm, not capturing. Do that because costs. Oh, come on. There we go. Done. Right, I'm not doing Vermintide though. Oops. Let's change this to yes, talk shows and podcasts, comics and comic reading corner. Right, everyone loves a reading corner. Comics. Comics. Talk. Comics. There we go. Unfortunately, we get this, but hey, it is. Oh, wait. Bugger. I need to. There we go. Done. There we go. This should do it. That way you don't see the whole thing, but just good enough for everyone else. Okay. Savage She-Hulk. Let's see. David Anthony Kraft. Let's see how this turns out. Last time she got turned, we saw Bruce Banner and a definite tie-in to the TV show at the time for the Hulk. All right, let's see. I mean, having me drive you straight from the hospital from here to the courthouse? Don't you think you're carrying devotion too far, little Jenny? Oh, stop worrying, you're the best friend, yada yada yada. Let's see what happens next. I've always needed someone and you've always been there. Except when you were shot by those gunmen and it's changed you, Jenny. You've grown colder, more distant, and I don't like it. Okay, we don't even know anything about her best friend, but still, we gotta, old comics be comics. At least that's the setup. Okay, let's see. Okay. First female Chief Justice. Those were the goals back in the days of the 1980s, wasn't it? Or was it the 80s or 70s? Either way, back in the day, those were, life goals at the time. Let's see, what do we got? I see a big recap, and then voila! Recap of her turning into She Hulk. Casually Comics did a thing on this, I think, or she had a couple of videos on She-Hulk, but that just got me wanting to see what the old She-Hulk comic books were like, and to say at the very least, they can be amusing. I wonder right here let me see if I can blow it up. This right here. The confessions were made under duress, Your Honor, forced out of them by, of all things, some kind of a She-Hulk. Objection sustained. I wonder if that's actually a legal thing or not. I mean, a big part of her character is being a lawyer, and, well, in this case, does it actually work? It's kind of hard to say. Trial will take place as scheduled. What about bail? Bail is denied and accused. Okay, I don't even know. I mean, I read through the first one, but oh well. Let's see. And then we have this character, I guess supposed to be Jen's opposites. Oh, one thing I kind of want to point out that people may notice is that in order to sell the background or sell the scene, right? In American comics, you don't. No, let me just say, I've seen more of these white backgrounds in manga than I did in American comics, but it could just be a bias on my side. Forgot my tranquilizers here in the car. Oh, back in the day when you were able to have tranquilizers. Ugh, this is some Wolf of Wall Street level right there. If you clear Moncton, turn state witness against Trask, I'll drop the charges for both your attempts to kill me. Our freedom for our sworn testimony. Oh, why not? You got your songbird, sister. Now these guys are crazy tossing. Trask is worse than death. Not even Trask can touch us here, right, lawyer lady? You think? Where'd to go home? I'd be editing West magazine instead of just writing for it. Oh, too bad she's gonna go away pretty soon. And you what? I want to see Nick Trask face to face. Did that bullet wound in your back addle your brain? He murdered your mother. He tried to have you killed. Okay, let's see what he has. Oh, it just jumps, doesn't it? Even some. Goodbye, Miss Walters. Oh. Oh, I don't know how to thank for your help, Jill. I do. I'm hungry as a horse. Or at least, they were fine with body positivity, I guess, back in the day. Or at least these comic book writers were. Get the grills. Hey, Jen and Jill. Good to see my favorite lady lawyer back on her feet. New characters. Isn't this exciting? Let's see. Oh, why? It's little Jen and Jill, too. Okay, wait. Who? So, Jill is Jen's friend, and this guy is a neighbor? Sometimes. Wow, what a feast. Important papers. You're right, Zapper. It's a trick. Jill, you better. Oh, some lawyer. Just pain. Okay, ahead of the figure, the assistant district attorney waits and waits. The car speeding at me. Accelerator jam and the key cut off the engine. Oh Lord, no brakes! Get out of the way, Mister! Crash. It's Jen Walters. Cripes, oh, creamed her in quart. Ooh, phrasing. Let's see. Car out of control. You know the funny thing about when a car loses control like that, you want to try to get it into a ditch as safely as possible. Uh, Although it's kind of weird that either way, we'll just keep it going in a circle, right? Lose control of the car. Eventually, it's gonna run out of gas. She's gonna hit that truck. She'll be killed at that speed. Although it's kind of hard to sell the speed in this one without speed lines. Thank goodness for speed lines, right? All right. Oh, chill. Jenny? And there we go. Hmm? Wow, she looks pretty good for being burned. Dad taught me justice always kind of. Where's the justice? Oh. Doesn't this panel kind of remind you of Spider-Man? With great power comes great responsibility, you know? Alright, so there is that. I wonder how much the new TV show is gonna look after that. Now let's see. Do I want to look at a different one? 3. Let's try a. Let's do this one. DC Comics may not mind, but. Or, well, they probably will mind, but. Okay, so. This one King, Evely, and Lope Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow by DC Comics. Superman, son of Kal-El. Tom Taylor and Jim Timms. You know, would it kill them to actually do a proper credits page? Maybe. Who knows? My father, whose name I will not record here, for I do not wish it learned, did not die a dignified or honorable death, a criminal and a thief and a liar, but at the time identified as Krem. Or Cream? Mortgages better to illuminate our beginnings. I am blessed by Cyan with 6 brothers and feast. Was not. It was noble and blustered. Krem, the Yellow Hills were likely a king's agent sent here to test us, for even in the plains where the king is loved, there may be doubters, as our cherished demonstrated offers. Kind of jumps you right into the middle of it, don't it? Daddy to rise. Good. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Chapter 1. Men, Women, and... Oh, here's the thing. Tom King is the writer. Bill Quist. Evely is the artist. Matthew Lopes, colorist. Definitely give kudos. It is a unique style all on its own. Here to Whale Tower. Even if it was feasible, it wouldn't be cheap. I did not come to da. Ruthless bounty inside the sea. They have need. Death of Krem. Wait, I'm kind of lost. Okay, so let's... My father, whose name... Come on, beat in the liar. And the yellow... The Copus Blade. After he woke him... Right, so... Okay, man kills girl's father. Yes, then search for the killer. Here we are. Can't say the impact of the... So... That was kind of weird. No, I mean... So, that's on his right side, right? And that's an awkward angle to slap him. Oh well. Kinsey. Impotent females. Oh, I wonder how many people. Let's see. That's the truth, justice, and the... That's kind of an odd line to put in there, but okay. Oh, that's supposed to be crypto? And you need... Hey, didn't he slice her? Oh. Okay. Hmm. I wonder what curse word. You know, if... You might as well. Hmm. She's on a red sun planet. Oh, that's a unexpected. Hit the dog. Ah. This one's. The art is good on this one. You can't deny that part. Can't say. I mean, hitting the dog like that. There, punch, hit, there. And he runs away. And he somehow gets onto the ship. Art definitely top notch. Story is a mixed bag to say, at the very least. Would it interest you into getting the other 7 issues? That is the question, and it's really kind of hard to say. Hmm. Well, well, well. Let's see. Should we try one more? Let's go through one more. Wonder Girl, the new Wonder Girl, or Wonder Woman. Doesn't matter. Cool costume. Let's see how this one works, ladies and gentlemen. Wait for brother. Hmm. Okay. If the idea behind this comic book was, hey, we have Amazons in Greek mythology, and there are the Amazons, I'm not a big fan of this pun connection, but let's see how well this works. She has shot true, has she not? Her dedication. Queen Nubia, is something the matter? Ah, Mount Olympus. I mean, this kind of jumps all over the place. What? I can't even read it. Oh well. My name is Steph. I play guitar. I'll be a star. It's kind of hard to see that this is conveying music if you were just basing it on the pictures alone. Mm. This is terrible. Calls me Eros, I do. The wep. Okay. Kevin. Wait, is this the same Kevin? That's supposed to be Superboy, the new Superman. Yeah. That was oh. These two books. It kind of feels like they haven't done enough. There's like a smidgen of something, a lot of exposition, and oof, not exactly a way to reel in new. I mean, it could just be a lack of the amount of pages that are available for them to work with. But usually in the manga side of the world of comic creation, first issues get quite a bit more pages to tell a complete story, simply because if it's a new um, story, new product, right? As I'm guessing these two were kind of meant to be. Let's see, how many pages did I read through? It felt short. It really did. Okay, yeah, so it was your typical comic book pages, less than probably 20 pages of actual story. Not a lot of action between the two, to be honest. Definitely nothing that conveyed an action kind of scene. No extra emphasis on that. But yeah, so on the manga side of things, they usually get almost 3 times the amount of pages compared to the US to tell a complete first issue story, to give you enough information about the characters, what kind of world they're in, and it's enough to tell one complete story. And these are obviously the beginnings of something, and whether or not this is enough to hook, fans of it, probably. New readers, I have a hard time looking at this and being like, hey, they're going to attract new readers with this. Mind you, it follows the same kind of formulaic comic as we saw with the She-Hulk, to be honest. Looking at this old She-Hulk from Marvel and looking at the new DC stuff, it's kind of, how do you say, it hasn't changed that much between the two, to be honest. The pacing is very similar. The artwork, however different, there's a lot of similarities there, and it's kind of hard to see anything progress besides the nice pictures. The storytelling aspect seems pretty much the same, mind you. This one's done by Tom King, and this one's done by who did this one? Jones, wasn't? Wonder Girl, who did this? Da da da. Yeah, that's mystery. I mean, I guess the setup here is pretty nice, but then we go to here, and that's where it felt jumpy, and I would have killed him. Did I miss the title credits? No, I can't have missed the title credits. Back to location 0. .0. Who? I mean, who wrote this? I have to say though, he definitely looked a little bit too thirsty here. Although digital art, this right here, this is that's not okay. Now, especially if you think about this, if they were gonna put this onto an actual physical comic book, either Nubia is gonna have to be cut in half, right? Or each of these are just gonna have to get a page on their own, which, again, is problematic. Homecoming part. Oh, they put the at the end. Okay, Joelle Jones, color, writer and artist. Okay, so it's more coherent in this one, but feels a little bit too samey. Asian History Month. Did I read this one, Festival of Heroes? This one was kind of old, but is it as bad as some of the other reactionary comic book nerdy YouTube channels make it out to seem? No, but certainly isn't as great as these DC comic book creators seem to tout it as. I mean, I really don't see anything progress that differently from this one to the old ones, but that could just be me. Well, it's a half-hour stream, read through some comic books. I would have loved to do some cartoons, but unfortunately, that isn't on the cards because of, streaming protection and yada, yada, yada. Copyright. I'm pretty sure there'd be some people who just absolutely love to pay, a streaming service fee, or maybe even more than that. Hell, make them pay $50 a month to be able to showcase certain shows and put on their own commentary tracks on it. That'd be nice, right? Let's see what else we can look at. Let's check out TikTok.
This is my poison dart frog enclosure, and it is by far my favorite enclosure that I have. My poison dart frogs are absolutely incredible, and I love owning them, but they are not the reason why this enclosure is my favorite. The reason why this is my favorite enclosure is because of
thing you've ever done.
A girl I was dating introduced me to comic books, and I became hyped.
What's the most autistic thing you've ever done? A girl I was dating introduced me to comic books, and I became hyper fixated instantly. Like, this was all I did, basically all day, every day. I spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on books, reading more and more, and I was explaining these books to anybody I could talk to, completely ignoring all social cues that they were really not interested. So, I created a YouTube channel where I could talk all about them. Lo and behold, it became very popular, and now that's my entire career. And it completely facilitates new hyperfixations because I will get really attached to characters or storylines or lawsuits that become endlessly fascinating, and I will research these until like 5 in the morning. So yeah, just a little autistic.
What's the most autistic thing you've ever done?
Wait, so maybe he is autistic because with that, not understanding social cues, but is this a thing now that people say that, they have autistic moments as if, I mean, that, I kind of have an issue with Comic Drake, to be honest. He seems like one of those people who says that they're fans of the medium, but a lot. Yeah, no, it seems like he's only doing this because it's his job, and maybe he can't find something else. Who knows? Let's see, what else?
A question. Like, I talk about comic books here on TikTok, but does that mean that I'm a member of Book Talk? Like, yeah, I get that all of my books have fun pictures and sometimes superheroes, but like, some of these stories are just as interesting.
Yes, he did make this video to show off his VHS high tops. I'm not a sneakerhead or anything, but just no. Right? And to be honest, who cares about this? Isn't this the generation of labels don't matter? Well, in this case, do labels really matter when it comes to something like comic books versus books? Just
A lot of people got upset that Jane was going by Thor. It's not a title that can be simply passed down. It is literally the name of Thor Odinson. The first time that we saw the possibility of Jane getting the Thor name was shown in this page of issue 2, and she straight up said that she never claimed to be Thor. I want to make it very clear that she never goes by or intended to go by Thor until one very important scene. You see, Thor was initially pissed, and rightfully so. He had just lost his hammer, and then someone else was instantly deemed worthy. Yet, it wasn't until Thor actually saw Jane in action that he accepted his position as unworthy. This scene of Thor reaching out and Mjolnir zooming past before landing in Jane's hand speaks volumes about what it did to his ego. Two of the big through lines for Jason's 7-year tenure on the Thor series has been what it means to be worthy and what it means to be a god. Being able to wield Mjolnir was one of the fundamental aspects of Thor's entire personal identity. Not being able to do so was emotionally devastating. Remember in Endgame when Thor got all fat and depressed? It's very similar to that. Without his hammer, Thor was having an
So, bad connection with Endgame here, only because, and I have to say this, that in Endgame, it was shown that Thor was worthy. Like, plain and simple. There was no question or doubt about that. And here we have connecting the new Taika Waititi, Thor, Love and Thunder movie with the comic book version, in which, he clearly has taken inspiration from, but Taika Waititi does not follow the comics at all. In fact, he does the thing that most people would find very annoying, or most comic book people would find annoying, and that, hey, he's taking these ideas and basically just doing whatever with it, to be honest. And if it was in the hands of anybody else, it would have been a bad thing, right? Because that's how you got the old, Marvel movies. I'm talking about the old Marvel movies before, Blade Marvel movies. And those ones were terrible because, the Hollywood tried to do whatever with it and it didn't work out. This one, Taika does whatever with the stuff and somehow makes it better because on a basic level, he does respect making a good story overall, not just capitalizing.
An identity crisis, and he felt like he couldn't even be himself until he became worthy once more. This is why Thor decided to renounce his name and go on a journey of self-discovery. There's a lot more at play than just a whisper.
might have to start beef with this guy.
Comic fans are used to crazy alternate universes. Like, what if Batman was a vampire? But this is one hypothetical that I would love. So, like, what if ever since Superman made his first appearance in Metropolis, every single coin toss ended up being heads? Like, that's not impossible. It is statistically extremely unlikely, but not impossible. Like, every single coin flip in the entire world, Lex Luthor would be perplexed by this. I imagine he would just have like a warehouse full of all of these coin flipping machines that are just...
So, issue with that, Lex Luthor, being a super genius, would also be aware of probability and all that kind of stuff, and would probably spend the time trying to figure out why, in a sense. Yeah, but he would also understand, it's like, hey, maybe it's a statistical thing. He has more important things to do. So, yeah.
Just constantly flipping coins over and over and over again. Heads, heads, heads. This drives him to absolute madness. But like,
why would it drive him to madness? He's a genius that understands probability and understands highly unlikelihoods, and not to mention he's done some crazier stuff before. I think something about as mundane as coin flipping. Yeah,
what if you're the one guy that got a tails? Nobody would believe you. Nobody would believe you, especially if you didn't. Us comic fans are used to crazy alternate universes. Like, what if Batman was a vampire? But this...
No, it is not a genius idea. It's terrible.
I have the perfect son.
Let's see.
I could.
Ooh, this one. I gotta show this off real quick, because I gave a suggestion. Hey, this is me, right here.
Yes.
Because, okay, so, story, Sam Keston was doing a explanation of how, this right here.
Yeah, you know, kind of the nice and the interesting thing about working animation is that...
So, like, she explained how much American companies actually worked on, and they worked at the beginning and at the end, really, and then I summed it up right here, and
Yes.
she used it.
That's
and
actually a really good one.
to go use it.
I'm using this from now on. Thank you.
Big happy moment for me right there. Follow her, right? Let's see, who am I following? What did they put out?
My mother and her siblings grew up during the time of martial.
What an odd thing to say. What a peculiar thing.
And I hate to bring this discourse back up, I really do. But people are like, oh, I mean, it's still bisexual representation because bi people get with people of the opposite gender presentation than them all the time, and that is true. However, within Loki itself, Loki was presented with other variants of himself and did not show any romantic or sexual attraction, but you're like, fine, he didn't spend a lot of time with them. Okay, fine. So then in No Way Home, we are presented with an alternative to show that they're not being homophobic. And what do? They go, oh, they're brothers. Which, within the story, within whatever, that's fine. Like, objectively okay. But when you look at it as a whole...
What was the original objection? When the Spider-Man called each other, but in No Way Home, but in Loki, the Lokis were a romantic couple.
What an odd thing to say.
I mean, not everything has to go on the...
What?
Could you put a Mezuzah scroll inside a tampon case?
Obviously that video was a joke, however, I was tagged in it like 50.
Police now saying they found 5 fetuses in Kool.
Why are they hating? We're some Victorian. What is that? We're very big on the body. Explicit detail. Yeah, so apparently in the Victorian era, there are some people who had certain attractions. We may call them kinks today, and yeah, some people really love the body hair.
What's one thing you can say to a white Christian conservative?
Hey, did you tell Cassie she can't watch Daniel Tiger anymore?
Yeah, that's right. I don't want her watching it anymore.
What? Why?
Because it promotes American classism.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever.
Isaiah, did I indoctrinate you?
The answer is yes.
I hear these arguments all.
I'm half Italian and half Jewish, so some people call me a pizza bagel.
Well, let's see. I am Hawaiian, English, Samoan, Chinese, Tongan, a little bit Filipino, and a 1% Taino, which is indigenous Puerto Rican. Yeah, so I'm like a buffet, a little bit of everything. I know you fuckers in the comments are going to use that joke against me. Oofa.
I'm half Italian.
What fictional character is a perfect...
What is the most unnecessary song you know on a musical instrument? What is the most unnecessary?
What are the 3 best live-action Disney movies?
I want to preface this by saying not a lot of the Disney live action movies are that great. I mean, it really got to the point where we were all just kind of like, look, stop. You need to stop. However, there are some gems. And here are my picks. The 2016 Jungle Book is probably the new definitive version of the Jungle Book story. For me, this is the gold standard, from the motion capture to the visuals to the voice acting performances, even all the way down to the story. Shere Khan was a terrifying villain, and I think he gets a leg up here. 101 Dalmatians is like a cult classic at this point. Glenn Close's performance as Cruella de Vil is iconic. Captures the feel of the animated version, but gives you a little bit extra. Honorable mention, Aladdin. It's not good at all, but it's watchable, mainly because Will Smith as a genie crushes it. Sometimes I sing his version of Friend Like Me more than Robin Williams. I'm sorry. It's just got so much swag and it slaps. Oh, wait, no. That was not intentional. Let's move on. People sleep on this version of Cinderella, for real. Took a classic story that's been done to death, and still somehow made it fresh.
There's not an abortion.
Let's just... Okay, let's just move on. Something... Ooh! I should read through a couple chapters of this. Let's turn on the thing to make sure that copyright people will know that you cannot use my Twitch stream or YouTube, whatever, my streaming thing to view this. Okay, big fan of this simply because, this... Oh, of course they do it backwards. Because, it's manga, right? So they have to do it backwards. Okay, if you want to learn about Japanese culture and... So the Japanese version of Hell, which is also kind of... Like, it's an Eastern Asian version of Hell. Thank you. So... Called Hozuki's Cool-Headedness. Enma is how you pronounce his name. It's always kind of interesting to me that a lot of people have problems pronouncing Japanese stuff. And it's weird because it's a pretty simple as far as pronunciation goes. You have 5 vowel sounds, a, I, U, E, O. And then you have the consonant sounds, which, are pretty simple. And the only thing that gets trickier are the glottal stops. We may come across that, but, like atatakai, the double consonants put together. Right? And here we go. So this is based off of that Buddhist kind of thing. Multiple different hells and whatnot. So, here we go. Hozuki's Cool-Headedness, or Hozuki's no Reitetsu, by Natsumi Eguchi, or... they reverse everything, but they also, reverse the names, too, so I always get confused if it's Eguchi Natsumi that's the author's name, or, either way, you're gonna have to Google it. Here we go. Ah, Mount Pincushion. They should have just kept the more Japanesey names, in my opinion, and just put a glossary in the back. Heaven's Shangri-La. Oh, so they have an anime for this, and it's pretty much fun, and you should watch the anime, no doubt. Someone named right here they should. This was a pun, right? So this just ruins the pun. It really does. Momo. Okay, very. Okay, you gotta enjoy. Can't. Okay, you gotta enjoy this part right here because it is a very traditional style Japanese art. So, ta-da! Right here, this mannerism definitely 超日本人っぽい. Let's see. I'm only in it for the millet dumplings. Muromachi. So in the cartoon, the pheasant, the Kiji, has a pretty deep voice. So you hear him grumbling in a deep voice. Omae mo ka? Oh, I think some stuff were definitely lost in this translation. So they should have kept the Oni thing, because here's the thing, right? So Oni is this idea of someone with a horn, but also with a club, and they also get viewed as like what we would think in the West as an ogre, right? But it also kind of means demon too, so it's just pick one. Let's see. No, no, good. Shimiji. I thought they should have just kept Oni, to be honest. Yeah, this comic series is really based on puns and wordplay in the Japanese language, and translating it into English it definitely lost. Kakisuke. Oh, so the monkey's name is Kakisuke and Lurio, which is kind of weird. So this one's actually based off of Kakisuke. Kaki is a persimmons, and this one is based off of folklore, which is the nice thing about this comic is, or the manga and anime, is they tie in traditional Japanese folklore with this overall branching theme of hell, and it's pretty great. Kijiseite. the this scene right here in the anime is pretty fun. Wow, Akadoshi. We're barking up the wrong. That's Yep, they were pretty hammered. Well, that was chapter 1. Maybe I go through this too quickly. Either way. Hozuki's cool-headedness is a good manga, a good anime. Just this one's just lost in translation. It's a lot more funnier in the Japanese, so it's kind of a shame. I wish I could show some of these other ones, but they're definitely not going to be for, how do you say, the streaming stuff. Oh, maybe we could get into some history too. Oh, maybe next week I'll just go through this entire Crush and Lobo series. I did a thing on my YouTube discussing it, and it was interesting to say at the very least. Ooh, some of these were actually this one right here, Diana, Princess of the Amazons, unexpectedly really good. Oh, and if you can, Sweet Paprika is probably one of the best comic books to come out of last year. It's cute, good story, lots of drama, definitely for your 18 plus audience. And with that being said, if you're 18 and over, or if your parents are good with this kind of stuff, definitely have a look-see. Very good. Oh, I also did a thing on Common America, which was I found to be good art but poor story, so I didn't really like it. Also on my YouTube, I did a review on this Star Wars manga, which was actually not bad. It wasn't great, but they did a slice of life story that actually think works better. The DC Pride. This one was kind of a mixed bag, to be honest. Poison Ivy Thorns. These, no. I had to buy these. I didn't enjoy them as much. Somehow, Harriet Tubman has katanas, even though she was actually a real life badass, and they could have just went over with that. Detectives or Sasquatch Detective. This was actually pretty fun. Too bad it didn't go anywhere. Oh yeah, Spider-Man, Mary Jane. Spider-Man loves Mary Jane. This one was like a manga base kind of thing. Maybe we'll look up that. Spider-Gwen, definitely. Oh, Gwenpool. I did beginning thing of, yeah, try to get back into comics again, but some of them didn't work out as well. Get rid of some of this other stuff, this 101 stuff. That's when Comixology way back in the day. Oh, the Mass Effect. These were, I'd say, not as good as the games, but let's see. Maybe we should finish off. No, I mean, Hozuki's pretty good. Oh, this one. With You and the Rain. Nice, cutesy. This is what you would call a slice of life version. I can't help but think, because there are fan translations, right? Or unofficial scantillations, as I think they're called. And I think they end up being a lot better. Right? Definitely a big fan of keeping the Japanese and adding some English translations to it. It's almost like that's shito shito. So one thing, if you are interested in learning Japanese, is they have an onomatopoeia sound for pretty much everything. It's specific, right? You know, in the US, we kind of like make up our own. You know, if I told you that there was a window blowing in the wind, right? They have, people will make up their own noises, but in Japan, it's very specific. It's almost like a vocabulary Oh, wait. I don't think in the Japanese version she says this. Right? See, right here. I met a tanuki. Right? But then she's looking for a stray dog. That's, yeah. Yeah, so these are pretty short, but you can see they still have a lot of detail in the background when it's necessary, and that's the other big thing. Hi. I'm a dog. Yeah, no, this is a nice, fun, cute. Kind of surprised there's an anime. I mean, let's check to see. There's an anime for this one. Ameto Kimi. Is there... Anime News Network, let's see. Vintage chapter. So, doesn't look like there's an anime. This would make a great anime, just quick, simple. I'm surprised Netflix didn't pick up on it. Let's see. Maybe some people will watch this on YouTube and whatnot. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe they'll suggest which ones for me to read and review. Should probably finish reading Patriotica and reviewing that. But thank you for my one viewer. Oh, that's sad to say, to be honest. But thank you anyways for watching. I hope you are having a good day or good evening, and hopefully I'll learn how to tighten up my streaming game, so to speak. Have a good day. Ciao, everybody.